You feel it, don't you? That quiet pressure that never really leaves. The anxiety in your chest. The racing thoughts. The feeling that you're behind, even when you don't know who you're trying to catch up to. You scroll through a perfectly edited world. Everyone seems calm, rich, happy, and perfectly productive. But you're exhausted, overwhelmed, and quietly wondering, is there something wrong with me? What if I told you this feeling is not a flaw? It's a signal that your inner world is being hijacked by everything external. And the antidote was written over 2,000 years ago. This isn't a self-help hack. It's not toxic positivity. It's Stoicism, a way of thinking that has shaped emperors, revolutionaries, billionaires, and monks. And if you stay with me until the end of this episode, I'll share a mental framework that I personally use every time I feel overwhelmed. It's simple, powerful, and it could change the way you meet your own chaos. Let's get into it. Welcome to the podcast, the space where we unlearn noise and relearn clarity. I'm your host, and this is The Calmly Made, and today we're going deep. Not into productivity tips or feel-good affirmations, but into a mindset that could make you truly undefeatable. Not undefeated. That's perfection. Undefeatable means even when you fall, you rise. When you're bent, you don't break. We're exploring Stoic strength and how to make it real in the modern mess of our lives. And along the way, I'll ask you a few questions. Don't just hear them. Answer them. Reflect. That's how change begins. Here's the truth. Life has never been predictable. Wars, recessions, pandemics, heartbreaks. Chaos has always existed. What's different now is how loudly and constantly we hear about it. Every notification, every scroll, every post is telling your brain, you are unsafe. You are behind. You're not enough. But Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor who ruled during a plague that killed millions, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Think about that. The most powerful man in the world, surrounded by death and betrayal, wrote reminders to himself every night just to stay grounded. Here's a question for you. When was the last time you wrote to yourself for yourself? Not for likes, not for validation, but to remember what actually matters. I do have a great personal story to share as I was burned out, yes. There was a time when I was burned out. I was checking emails at 1 a.m., comparing myself to strangers on LinkedIn, and losing sleep over things I couldn't control. One night, I opened my journal and just wrote, what if I didn't have to fix everything tonight? That was my shift. I began separating what's in my control from what's not. Now here's a practical tip. Draw 2 circles. In one, write what you control, your actions, thoughts, responses. In the other, write what you don't, the economy, others' opinions, time. Every morning, reread the first circle. That's your battlefield. The rest? Let go. The Stoics live by 4 virtues. But let's not treat them like abstract concepts. They're tools. And here's how we can use them. Wisdom, Jeff Bezos once said, being right a lot is mostly about knowing when you're wrong. Stoic wisdom is about knowing what matters. Ask yourself, is this essential? Courage. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison. He came out without revenge. He came out with vision. Courage isn't grand gestures. Sometimes it's just speaking up or walking away. Temperance. In a world of more, faster, now, temperance is rare. Steve Jobs practiced minimalist living because clarity comes from simplicity. Justice. Doing the right thing even when no one's watching. Think about Viktor Frankl. He saw hell in concentration camps and still chose compassion. And now, for A. Public check-in. Which of these 4 do you struggle with most right now? Wisdom? Courage? Temperance? Justice? Send me a DM or journal your answer today. And here is an implementation tip. Pick 1 virtue each week. Set a phone wallpaper with a quote on it. Example. Am I being wise or just reactive today? Seneca, one of the great Stoics, used to sleep on the floor once a month. He had wealth, but he wanted his body and mind to know, even if I lose it all, I'll still be me. Following this, a question, what are you doing to train your mind? Here's how voluntary discomfort looks today. Try 24 hours without social media. Say no to something small you usually indulge in. Wake up 30 minutes earlier and just sit in silence. Here's a thing. I once did a weekend without any screens. No phone, no Netflix, no emails. The first 6 hours were hell. I kept reaching for my phone like a drug. But by the second day, I realized how addicted I was to distraction. I remembered what my own thoughts sounded like. That weekend changed my baseline anxiety. Try this challenge. Pick one discomfort this week. Not because it's trendy, but because it builds trust in yourself. Modern therapy, especially CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, is basically modern Stoicism. Epictetus said, "It's not events that disturb people, but their judgments about them." CBT teaches the exact same thing. Challenge your thoughts, or they will control you. Ask yourself, is this thought true? Is it helpful? Is it mine, or was it planted by someone else? Case study, Tim Ferriss. Tim credits Stoicism for saving his life. In his TED Talk, he discusses fear setting inspired by Stoic thinking. You imagine your worst-case scenario and realize it's survivable. Define the worst-case scenario, accept it, and you will find clarity. Exercise. Write down your biggest fear. Break it down. What would actually happen? How would you recover? Let's put it all together in a drill you can repeat daily. The 5-minute Stoic Armor Drill. Sit silently. Just 1 minute. Feel the discomfort. Scan your body. Breathe in. Notice tension. Let go. Bring to mind a challenge you're facing today. Ask, what's in my control here? What's not? In with this mantra. I have everything I need within me to meet this moment. Make it yours. Save this segment. Use it every morning. The world isn't going to slow down, but you can. Being calm isn't weakness. Being still isn't laziness. Being stoic isn't emotionless. It's choosing your emotions like you choose your clothes. With awareness, with care, with power. You're not meant to control the storm. You're meant to become the eye of it. So I ask you now, what would change if you chose inner peace before outer success? Let that question echo in you until next time. This was The Calmly Made. Share this episode with someone who needs to stop fighting themselves. And if you try the Stoic drill, DM me your experience. Stay still, stay sovereign, and always stay undefeated.